Let's go. It's time. Put on Play Pants. All right, here we go. Episode 25 of Play Pants. This would be like our silver anniversary edition, I suppose, because silver is for 25, right, Rod?
I think I really haven't done much 25s except turning 25, and I didn't get anything silver on that birthday. So
no, so it's our 25th episode of the Play Pants podcast, brought to you by Lucky's Pub West in Houston and Pirates of the Quarter Tours, where I'm located in New Orleans. Rod Ryan, Jason Ginty. Coming up, Hair Day, National Hair Day, which is something you and I know nothing about any longer, is coming up this weekend, Rod. So I thought, what the hell? Why don't we run down our top 5 favorite hair bands of all time, something we both know and love. So we'll get into that in just a second. But before we move forward, I just wanted to give a shout out to Emily Wise. She left this comment last week. I didn't get a chance to it. She said, and she put a little meme on our Play Pants pod on Facebook.
okay.
She said, "Hey, I don't listen to podcasts. I've done cocaine, so I already know what it's like when two guys talk over each other about something only they care about."
Wow. How did she find our page?
I fucking love Emily. And then she said, haha, just kidding. I totally listen. I totally listen while I mow every week. So Emily,
You got me.
Emily Wise, love you, and good luck on the grass cut. And I hope it goes well for you this week. But I thought that was funny shit. I'm like, oh, she's kind of right in a way, man. That's what we talked about before we started this. Just what the world needs is two white bald guys talking about dumb shit. And Rod, you got an email.
Yeah, but I can't. You just want me to go into the show. You want me to go into podcast 25. Yeah. You don't want to talk about whatever it is you're wearing. I realize a lot of people just listen to the podcast, but we also record this, and it is on our YouTube channel. I'm trying to figure out, you have some double vest thing. You're not wearing a shirt, but a double vest. Or is that just one weird vest? What's going on?
It's like it's a one weird vest. It's almost like it's a vest, okay? And I'm doing it, Rod, just so you know. Just so you know. It's not to show off the guns, okay? Because my guns aren't guns at all. They're like, if you ever saw a pony at a petting zoo and looked at its legs and thought, how does those little tiny legs hold up that big body? Imagine that as my arms. I have pony legs for arms.
Okay.
We're talking hair metal bands, bro. I busted out an old school vest. Hair metal. Dude, I put some effort into this podcast. I want you to check out the YouTube channel because you never know what sort of wardrobe I will or will not be wearing. So tell me about this crazy email. I've been dying to hear this thing all afternoon.
I didn't tell Jason much. I said, I do want to start. I want to open with an email. Raymond, who's been listening to me, and he's originally a New Orleans guy. So I'm going to go right into the email. And then, believe it or not, he's asking us for advice, which is weird. It's not necessarily advice. Maybe he just wants our take on this. Let me get into it. Brother Rod, longtime listener from way back in New Orleans. I listened to you on the end. We both lived in Metairie, 5 streets from one another.
What?
So, yeah, Jason and I had a house on Taft. I don't know what he's talking about or where in Metairie, but that's where we lived. Yeah. I followed you to Houston about 5 years after you arrived, oil and gas work. Loving the Play Pants podcast. I thought this may be a great thing to bring up. I think you may be married now 5 years, so your opinion may be different. Sounds like Ginty's been married a long time like me. How long have you been married? I hate to put you on the spot like this. I am at 5 years.
I got married. Oh, I am so fucked right now.
Dude, I hate doing that to people. I just assume that maybe you would kind of have a rough idea.
I got married in 2004. Okay. So I can't do the math. It's like what? 19 years. 19 years. Holy shit. God.
I think that's 18 years.
18 years, I think it was. Anyway,
it's going to be 18 years.
It's a long ass time, and I can't believe that she would put up with this for 18 fucking years.
Okay. Well, this dude's been married 27 years. So he's coming at you. He's coming at me.
Wow.
I've been married 27 years this past March. We were 21 and 22-year-old kids when we got married, but we've stuck it out. 2 kids, both through college. One has his own family now. I've got 3 grandkids, but that's not why I'm writing. So he laid down some nice groundwork here.
Okay. He's been around a minute.
27 years. Congratulations on being married 27 years. You got 2 kids through college. One of them is starting their own family. He's got 3 grandkids. He goes on to say, about the time of our anniversary, my wife comes to me and says she wants to start taking separate vacations. Wow.
Okay.
Not everyone, and nothing surrounding the holidays, but 1 week each, we get to go where we want, with who we want. Nothing kinky, just with friends. Now, my wife is in a few clubs. She networks pretty well and would have several friends to go places with. Me, I would have to go alone. So I told her, I'm not down with this idea. So he doesn't have a bunch of bros. It's hard when you're older, man, to get a bunch of bros to go on vacation for a week. So he said, I told her I'm not down with this idea. Is my wife crazy for wanting to go on vacation without me? My feelings were hurt. I did get mad at first when she brought it up, but a few people have told me just to go with it, have fun. I never go out by myself, bars, restaurants, nothing. I've heard you're the same, which I am. How the hell am I going to spend a week by myself somewhere? I'll go crazy. Run it by Jason. Again, look forward to Thursday mornings to listen to you guys talk your smack, as we are all about the same age. Raymond. Wow. I wasn't expecting the email to go in that direction. And I thought it was crafted very well, because the first thing I'm thinking, okay, she wants to go on vacation, and then boom, it's with a dude. I mean, there's all this stuff. I don't know if you're keeping up. I keep up with the dumbest entertainment shit because of my job, because here in the morning. Right. And there's all this Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith. They're in some crazy open relationship. So he's not doing that. It's nothing kinky. It's nothing weird. It sounds like she's got a lot of friends that she'd be able to go do a girls' week, no problem. He does not have that. First of all, let's unpack the very first thing. Your wife comes to you, Jason, and says, I want to go on vacation by myself, but I'm going to let you do the same. Are your feelings hurt? Are you upset? I mean, I know it's hard to process it because it didn't happen. She walks in and says this to you out of the blue. Your first thought.
It's a weird way to present it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, like, my wife has taken plenty of girls' weekends. Okay. She's gone to Dallas with girlfriends. She's went to Vegas with a bunch of girlfriends for a bachelorette weekend. She's done other shit. Yeah. Well, 4-day weekends, it's still kind of the same idea. So she's done this. She doesn't come up to me one day out of the blue and go, okay, from here on in, here's the new rules. We each take separate vacations. No, there's been a reason behind it. And I'm just kind of like, okay, go ahead. Cool. And I've gone and seen, I've come to Houston and partied with you different times. I've gone to Buffalo. I've gone and seen my brother, different places, 4 or 5 days, weekends, on my own. No, that's not a vacation. I don't look at those as vacations. A vacation is drinks, beach, brand new land. You know what I mean? Like, that's a vacation. But as far as going to doing shit, we do it all the time. And that's a wild one. The way it's presented is kind of like, okay, new rule.
Well, again, it's not all trips, because it sounds like they maybe go places throughout the year. She doesn't want to not be around him and the family around the holidays, but she just thinks that she needs a week away. Dude, they've been married for 27 years. They're our age. They got married at 21 and 22. Oof, he said they were kids when they got married. And that is, now that's kids. Okay. It's hard to process, but you've been together so long. If you feel like she just really does want to get away with chicks and you guys completely trust each other, it kind of blows that she has a lot of friends that she can do this with. It sounds very convenient for her. He's mentioned in there something. I don't go to a bar and sit by myself. I don't do it. God rest her soul, Dinah. We would talk about this all the time. Dinah could go out to eat by herself. Dinah would go and sit at the bar, and she would order a drink, and she would order dinner. She would eat a steak and baked potato at a nice place at the bar.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
That's not me.
Nah, I can't do that shit.
So if I can't do it once, what am I going to do? Room service? I'm going to stay in my room like a hermit, go out to the pool, and then go back to my room and have all my meals. I've only done it once in my life. And it was because it was a bit, we talked about it. I went to, do they have Luby's in New Orleans?
No.
It's kind of like an old lady place. That's where you get chicken. It's where you go through and you got a tray and you get home cooked kind of stuff, cafeteria style, kind of, I think. I don't remember. I sat there and she said, you got to do it. She talked me into going out to eat by myself, and I did it. This is long before I was married and everything. I was miserable. She said, you can't sit there and be on your phone the whole time. I'm like, oh my God.
No. You can't do that.
You got to just sit there and eat and relax. She goes, you're allowed to read a book. So I did bring a book because I'm like, I got to do something. I feel like, and I know it's not true, I feel like the whole place is staring at me.
Absolutely. Yep.
Now, I don't think anybody gives a shit that you're sitting there by yourself.
No.
But maybe you do look a little sad. But I haven't gone to a concert by myself. And I know once you get in there, there's, if say you and I go to a concert, you're going to go take a piss. I'm going to go take a piss. You're going to go get a beer. I'm going to go get a beer. There's going to be so many times that you're out by yourself. You're not going to think about it. But if I'm there by myself, I'm thinking that everyone is looking at me knowing that I'm there by myself. I don't know how to break that. I can't do it.
Yeah, that's a little strange. I mean, I've done it where I've gone into like maybe a diner and sat at the counter, old school style, get a coffee, get a sandwich, and I'm out. But that's if I'm running and gunning. I don't want to go through a stupid drive-through and shit like that. I kind of like being old school now, Think about it this.
I mean, we're just talking about eating now. We're talking about leaving the house one time. This guy doesn't do this. And he's being told, I guess, asked to go on vacation by himself. Now you're doing this every day for a week. Let's just say, let's draw it up for him. He goes to Cancun. All right. He goes to Cancun. He goes to a resort. Bro, now you got to be that weird guy and start talking to people that maybe don't want to be talked to. I don't really want to be talked to people. I don't want people to talk to me that are just striking up conversations. It's odd. I feel odd. The whole thing is odd. I don't know what kind of vibe I give off, but I don't want to just sit around and talk with a stranger.
I think you got to look at it this way, though. I think you got to define what is it exactly you're going to do, because think about it this way. If you said, hey, Jason, and I don't think this is a solo trip thing. I'm thinking of it from a different angle. I'm thinking of it as you going, hey, dude, I got a buddy who can charter us a boat and we're going to go fishing for a week. Me, you, and the boys. What do you think? Are you in? I'd be like, fuck yeah. I'd go tell my wife, I'm going fishing for a week with my boys. It's going to be awesome. And I'll see you in a week. And then
what makes this great is you're with your boys. Go ahead.
Do it. She'd be like, do it. And if she said, hey man, me and the girls, we want to fucking go to New York. We want to go shopping in Broadway and all this. So think about it that way. Here's how I'm looking at it. I don't fucking ever want to go shopping in New York City. I don't ever want to do that. Okay. I want to go to New York. I'll go to New York, but I don't want to do that shit. Okay. My wife won't take me shopping because she knows I would be miserable. So if we went to New York together, she'd be like, I'm not going to do this because he'll hate it. And then when I do other things and we go places I want to go, I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that because she's going to fucking hate that. I'm fishing. She's shopping. We're both doing exactly what we want to do. I think that's awesome. I think that's good. That's growth too, man. Think about it. Think of all the stories I got to tell when I come back to the wife. I got new conversations. I've learned things along the way. Personal growth, right?
Like 27 years, you ran out of shit to talk about. It's like, hey, I got some new stuff to tell you. Not all at once, though.
Think about it. And that's my point. Think about it. You sit around and dude, I mean, 17 years I've been married. Okay. You sit at the dinner table. What'd you do today? Worked. How about you? I mean, things get into a bit of a routine.
Absolutely.
If he takes off and does shit, I take off and do shit. That's going to open up your mind. You got to break those routines. You turn into that hamster on a wheel and your brain starts to get fucking numb. You know what I mean? I'm going to watch a movie tonight. I'm going to cook dinner. I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut the grass. I'm going to do that. No, I'll take a trip. Now, I like to take trips with my wife and we travel well together. I take my kids, and when we take the family vacation once a year, well, before COVID, we travel like a pack of wolves. We don't fucking sleep and we see everything. I mean, we just
Right.
don't stop. We like that. We're animals. Okay. But if she said, hey, I want to go do some girly ass shit for a week, I'd be like, yeah, you do, all by yourself and all your girlfriends. You go do the girly shit because I want to go fucking elk hunting with Rogan and Ryan and all these other dudes and fucking eat some fucking meat. You know, I want to go on a fishing trip.
I think you make it sound good. I do. I think you're presenting a really good case. I'm worried that the guy's got no one to go on vacation with.
Well,
this is like,
yeah, that's hard.
What's that Paul Rudd movie where, I Love You, Man? He's got nobody in his wedding party. He's got nobody to stand up there with him because he doesn't have any friends. He's kind of friends with all of her friends. And it's a really good movie, but it's sad because he has to go and just put people up there that they're not really lifelong friends. This guy doesn't have somebody to go on a trip with. What does he do?
You know what he does? He fucking
tell me.
I'm assuming that a little bit of money isn't an issue. Okay, let's just assume that. I'm not saying you go to Paris by yourself. I'm saying, hey, maybe he's never seen fucking Mount Rushmore and he's really into it. All right, that can be a cool ass solo trip. Cruise up there, see the damn thing, go out and see whatever else is around there for 4 or 5 days and have a fun time. You can do that by yourself. You don't need your buddies, man. Do a little camping, do a little walking, do a little biking, whatever you're into.
Camping? Holy shit. By yourself?
Whatever. Sure.
What am I, a maniac? Camping. Now you're taking me out of any interaction at all. And I'm sitting there bored out of my balls in the woods, some bears tearing me apart and no one's there to help me.
Well, I didn't say there'd be fucking bears. I mean, I'm just as an example. Going to Cancun by yourself is fucking creepy as a married guy because you're going to be the jagoff walking around with your ring on at the pool going, hi, I'm here in Cancun at a beach resort by myself and I'm fucking married. I don't know.
Okay, so your camping idea sucked.
Yeah,
Cancun was maybe a shitty idea. What can you do for a week? Road trip?
Dude, you got to find out something you've always wanted to do. Maybe you want to take one of those cool hunting trips where you go away for a week to Yosemite and they hoard all the elk in one spot and you shoot one of those fuckers. I don't know. Something that you're into. Maybe he's got a motorcycle. Go to fucking Sturgis, man. You ride that fucking shit up there and cruise around for a week. You're with like-minded people. What are you into?
Yeah.
Go take that trip by yourself. I'm telling you, man, that's how you're also going to break out of your shell of not having anybody. You're going to be, maybe it's a confidence builder. I'm not saying this about you, Raymond. I'm just saying if there's someone who's solo, you can break out. You can break out, man. Think of the movie City Slickers. Okay. And this is not exactly an exact replica of Raymond's situation. Remember City Slickers? It was Billy Crystal. Okay.
The chick was there by herself, right? The real hot chick?
Yes. Right.
She was there by herself.
Billy Crystal was married. Okay. Job, living in New York. He was a radio salesman, but he turned like 50 or something. And he just hit this fucking wall where everything sucked. It was mundane. He was just bored. He was miserable. He was in that wheel. He was stuck like the hamster on the wheel. Get up.
Dude, that movie's old. I think he turned 40.
Holy shit. Wow.
I think that movie's that old. Yeah. I think that was some sort of a 40-year-old midlife crisis, but he had boys to go with. He had his dudes.
True.
So he had Daniel Stern and he had that other jerk. So
the point
he had guys to go with.
The point is, though, he went and he did the Dude Ranch thing and he grew and he learned and he did all these things that he didn't think it was possible that he could do. He came back a changed man. Sure, he had his boys with him. But the point is, you got to break the cycle, man. If you don't, you're fucked. You're just going to be like, and it sounds like he's got himself a decent, healthy relationship with his wife. He just, I don't know, man. If it's all on the up and up.
It's a little easier setup for her. He said that it sounds like the girls have already talked about this and that's how she approached him with this because she already had a built-in kind of party already doing this. And then he's got to kind of start from scratch.
He could,
I think it's healthy. I agree with you on that. I think it's healthy. And I hope that he finds somebody to go with. For me, that would be a little torturous going on vacation by myself. It would be a little weird. Dinah did it again. God bless her. She was able to do these things and just did not give a shit,
Right.
which made her better. It did. She didn't care. She went places by herself, vacation by herself. She did. After radio, she got the trailer and drove around by herself.
Awesome.
Her and her dog, you know. I couldn't do it. I
think about this.
People go to the movies by themselves, all of it. I never did any of it.
Nah. Think about this, Rod. If once you're married for a few years, you have patterns, okay? Anytime me and the wife go on vacation, she's the one who's booking the hotel rooms and she's doing this stuff. I'm the guy who's going to be like dragging the luggage and figuring out, we automatically have our roles. Your roles are just automatically defined in your relationship, right? Well, if you go by yourself, guess what? You got to figure out how to do all those other things for yourself. And it makes you appreciate all that shit that other person does. You're like, well, fuck.
You're not selling this. It's fucking more work is what you're telling me.
But you're going to grow. It's personal growth, Rodney. It's personal growth is what I'm after here. That's my point, man. You're going to learn. You're going to do it, man. You know what you do? I think if you do it, I don't know, man. I think it's cool because you got shit to talk about when you come home. You're not just going, what'd you do today at work? I fucking hate my job. Me too. Okay. Turn out the light. Let's watch Game of Thrones on repeat, and go to bed.
This is something I'm definitely interested in reading in the comment section on the YouTube page, just to see what you guys. Because you guys do a great job of when you go to our YouTube page, you leave your top fives, or maybe you'll email us or whatever, or hit us up on our Facebook page. But this is a good one, though. I'm just curious: is anybody mad at this? Would anybody not take it as well? I mean, Raymond, he's taking it well. He just kind of wanted to run it past us. Like, hey, how would you guys react to that? 5 years in on my marriage, I'd be a little freaked out if my chick wanted to start going on vacation by herself. 27 years, it seems like you guys could probably use a little time apart and it might be good for you. So like you, I'm okay with it. I just can't get past the anxiety that I would have the airport, I've flown by myself. None of that's a problem. Getting around and doing all of that. And I've gone places, but I've always gone to a convention and I've met up with people. I've done that. I've met people in Vegas. I'm a big boy. I can do all the things that you need to do to get around by yourself. So I know I could do it because I've done it, but I just never spent a week somewhere by myself. It's weird. I've broken away from the pact and I've enjoyed it. I have. I've broken away and you'd spend a little time. Maybe, your guys, Vegas, dudes are always hungover. It's like, I get up early, man. I hit the streets running and I start walking around. I'll go and I'll just walk. I'm not a big gambler, but I'll go out and I'll walk. I'll be back to the room and then it's 11:30 noon and everybody's ready to go to the pool. And I've already been up for 5 hours by myself because I'm a big boy.
Right.
I can handle that. But going back to your room and breakfast, lunch, and dinner and keeping yourself entertained for a week, I get it. You bring a book, you read by the pool. I don't know. I can handle more than 3 days of that.
I think we're talking about two different vacations, though. I think that's where we're at. I think you're thinking pool, beach, chilling, vacation. I'm thinking of being a fucking tourist and seeing shit and going. And I'm going into a market and grabbing an apple and a fucking loaf of bread and chomping on that as I'm going to my next thing to go check out something new. Because when I travel, dude, I'm fucking seeing everything, man. I hum. So I'm not even gonna be thinking about being by myself. I'm just gonna be going from thing to thing to thing and burning. If I'm gonna go chill by a pool, unless it's somebody's bachelor party, at this point in my life, I'm fucking going with my wife, dude. I like hanging out with my wife. We have so much fun together.
Here's my email back to Raymond. I'm going to say, I hope you heard the podcast. I know he said he's going to listen on Thursday morning, but what did your wife float to you what she wanted to do? Because don't tell me that she's not sure. She had a whole plan. Everything's ready to go. When she introduced the topic,
yeah,
she knew exactly what was going to happen. But again, it sounds like she's got some girlfriends, so you can do anything. But poor Raymond.
What are you
all by myself.
Might be
Don't wanna be all by myself in Cancun.
He's not going to fucking Cancun, man.
Yes, he
Jesus
is.
Christ.
Yes, he is. What do you think? You think he's gonna jump on the fucking back of a Vespa with Lucky Pierre and gonna be eating a loaf of bread in downtown Paris?
Fuck yeah, dude. He'd be awesome. No, he could go wherever he wants. You know what? You gotta start. I feel like Raymond probably knows what he wants to do. You know what I mean? Like if he wants to go fly solo somewhere, I think he can figure it out. He's probably got a hobby. He's probably got shit he likes to do. You know, go figure out where they do a lot of that shit and go do it for a couple of days. Don't do the whole week. Do a couple of days and see how you do. You know, be careful. Don't just dive into this. I think 27 years of marriage, the kids, the grandkids, he's done it. He's been there. He's done it.
Right.
What do you want to do, Raven? Where do you want to go? What do you want to really fucking do, man? Go do it. Go do it. Come to New Orleans.
Well,
you haven't been to New Orleans in a while, man. Come to New Orleans. Take the fucking pirate tour. Go out on the Gulf. Do some fishing. Hang out. Go see shit around New Orleans you've never seen before. All that stuff. How'd you like that plug? That was pretty good.
He's been, yeah. I mean, he's been gone almost as long as I've been gone. So, Raymond, listen, I appreciate all the years. He said he listened to us in New Orleans. He's listening now to the Buzz in Houston. He's here. I hope you're doing well with the oil and gas because I know that can be up and down. All right, we got to take a break. You sent this over to me. I was excited about it. You knew I would be. So Friday, I'm not excited about the fact that Friday is National Hair Day, but way to take a piece of shit and polish it up because I know I'm going to get razzed on National Hair Day about, even my kid right in the middle of school, dude. I'm picking my kid up a couple weeks ago. And I'm just standing there, and I talked to a couple of little kids come up to me, and they're, hey, what's up? And you're London's dad. London's dad.
Oh,
yeah, that's
yeah.
London's dad. Yeah. And then my kid just busts out. I didn't introduce the topic. We didn't say anything. She just goes, Dada's hair fell out. She said it to all the kids. I'm like, dude, we don't need to get into that right now. And then the girl's like, oh, hair fell out. Oh, hair fell out. And then you just start hearing hair fell out. And you see all these little 3-footers. Hair fell out. I'm like, we don't need to get into this right now, do we? Mm-hmm. So I'm not looking forward to hair jokes on Friday, but I am looking forward to finding out what direction you went in. As always, I put a lot of rules and I put all kinds of pressure on myself to come up with my top 5 favorite hair bands.
It's going to be good. Hey, we're going to have to go down some rules because I think we're going to have to qualify and quantify this, but we'll get into that in just a second.
All right. Let me talk. We just talked about Raymond. Raymond, go to New Orleans, man. Go to New Orleans. You know what? The streets are full of music. The food's great. The quarter's coming back. The New Orleans that you love is back. Can you tell I've been doing New Orleans commercials here in Houston?
I like it.
And I also mentioned my friends, the Pirates. Okay. Every time I talk about New Orleans, walking around the quarter, you'll see these pesky Pirates around and they're back. So New Orleans is coming back from Ida and the Pirates of the Quarter are back giving award-winning tours of the French Quarter. Fall is an awesome time. Okay. It is. Number one, the weather. Okay. A little cooler outside, but it's just, there's something about the fall. It gets dark a little quicker, which I hate. But it works in New Orleans and it works when it gets a little darker sooner in the quarter. And once that Halloween vibe hits, and I know that's already hit a little bit, but let me tell you, everybody decorates and the balconies and everything. Nobody embraces Halloween like New Orleans. So the fall is a perfect time to visit New Orleans. Book your trip, then immediately book your pirate tour, piratesofthequarter.com. You book in advance. Okay. So book your trip and then boom, you know what? Hey, I heard Rod and Jason talking about this Pirates of the Quarter. Discover the pirate history of New Orleans. You're walking around, you're drinking, you're still partying, you're learning some great stuff. Links available wherever you listen to this podcast and of course on the Play Pants YouTube channel. The Pirates. Good guys. Okay, Jason.
In honor
Did you want to give rules to this?
You know what? I think we had to kind of quantify a couple of things. Okay. I think you'll know where I'm going with this. Okay. National Hair Day is fucking this weekend. Okay.
Yeah.
I ain't got no whiskers on my skull anymore. So it's like, okay, haha. In honor of my kick-ass 80s vest, I thought I'd bust out on the YouTube channel.
Really odd.
I thought, you know what? Why don't we run down our top 5 favorite hair bands? We get into all these weird music discussions all the time. and hair bands, the cheese, the 80s and stuff. Right now, let's get into what the hell isn't a hair band, because it's easier that way. I think when you look at like Van Halen, it's not a hair band. It's not a hair band.
No. I think the ground floor of hair bands, I think ground zero has to be Quiet Riot and Rat.
Yeah. But I think
is that too early for you?
No, that's fine. That's fine. They quantify. But I think Guns N' Roses is not a hair band. I don't think of them as a hair band. I don't think of Metallica as a hair band. You know
okay,
what I mean?
I didn't even consider either one of those bands.
Okay.
I thought about Guns N' Roses, but I don't consider them a hair band. And I wanted to uncover some other things. I didn't want to take a spot up. Of course, Guns N' Roses. I love them.
Not hair band. Not hair band. Not
in that era, they ran with all these bands. They ran with all of them. Okay, at the same time period. Technically, I think they are a hair band.
Technically, I guess you could
just
argue
because they've lived it. Bon Jovi continues to be super huge and popular and still plays arenas.
Right.
Hair band. Right.
Yeah. But Bon Jovi, I look at it, but they had the big fucking hair too, man. I mean, they had the whole thing. Right. Bon Jovi, I say is a hair band, although with a little more, longevity. Guns N' Roses, I know the first video actually had the big hair, but after that, it was just fucking, they were just dirty scumbags and boom. It wasn't,
but all of these
trying to be pretty.
Right. But and they changed the hair band game. They changed the game for sure. Okay. With the way that they looked. We don't need to argue anymore about it because I didn't use them. I didn't use them.
Pretty much in the same vein, same page. So you want to go first with your top 5 hair bands? Your top 5 favorite hair bands?
No, I want you to go first. And I already have mine. I'm not moving anything around, but I've got notes. I was all over the place on this.
Yeah, it was tough. It wasn't easy.
I don't want to say anything else. There'll be plenty of time afterwards to discuss some of the bands that, Ozzy had a hair band moment.
Whoa.
He embraced it. And everybody, that's the thing that's very difficult. Okay. Everybody but fucking Motorhead embraced that hairband time period. Okay.
Kiss went hairband for a while.
Kiss, that's Ronnie James Dio solo. That's Ozzy solo.
Yeah.
These are not bands that I used, even though they embraced that moment. I wanted to recognize what we think of as pure hair bands, which I want to talk about the term hair bands too. I want to talk about that and how damaging I think that term is right now to some of these bands.
Absolutely. And then I put some in case we got into a point where that's not a hair band, I put an alternate next to it. It gets a little weird, but I think we'll be fine. My number 5, top 5 favorite hair band.
Go ahead.
And I didn't like them that much at the time. I fucking hated them, but I learned to like them. Warrant. I fucking love Warrant. And I'm not talking Cherry Pie Warrant. I hate that fucking song. If you fucking like Uncle Tom's Cabin is awesome. And then the song, you want to fucking have your guts ripped out through your mouth? You don't. But if you do, listen to this song, I Saw Red from Warrant, man. You want to talk about
he walks in on his chick banging another dude, right?
Oh, it's fucking heart-wrenching. It's such a great fucking song. Listen to the lyrics on that. That'll get you going.
Yeah, but what about that ending? Oh, it must be heaven. And then the little wink at the end. I hate that band.
Fuck it up.
I hate them.
They always fuck it up.
I go back all the time to that book that I'm telling you have to read, whether it's Friend Off. It's called Nothing But a Good Time. I respect them a lot more when people talk about Warrant now, and they talk about Jani Lane was a really good songwriter.
Right.
I thought it was so cheesy. I thought the white outfits, their name on the sleeves, the choreography,
everything.
I hated all of it. And I still to this day do. I can't get past it, but your list, not mine.
And Jani Lane hated most of that shit. He's like, I don't want to fucking release Cherry Pie. I want to release these other songs because they're actually good songs. That fucking Cherry Pie shit is stupid. And that was what made them all their money. That's what did it for them. When Mike, the really good thing in the book where you got it, I'm going to pump your Warrant pick up a little bit. Good.
Michael Jackson, if you go and you look at the Bad album, and that's where he was leathered out and stuff. He wanted to know who did Warrant's outfits.
Oh, Jesus.
How wild is that? Which, I mean, it's Michael Jackson. It's a cool Michael Jackson story.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he wanted to kind of be leathered out and who's bad. He wanted to know who did all the stuff for Warrant. He was looking at them. So I think, well, maybe that made your band worse. I don't know.
Well, no, it's fine. Cause if you look at Michael Jackson he was a fashion icon, not just a music icon. So I guess,
right.
But yeah. And the videos was what killed a lot of these hair bands too. Number 4, and I put them in there because at first I didn't think they were, but then later on, and I'll explain why in a second, they were Motley Crue. I put it number 4. Motley Crue wasn't really a hair band when they first came out. They were just fucking dirt bags as well. But once you had the power ballad all over MTV, you kind of go into the hair band world, Once you had not Home Sweet Home kind of threw that band into the hair band world, but once they had that, what was that other one? Without
they were chameleons. They were chameleons. I mean,
right. They were chasing the dollars and the hits.
They might be the Kings. I mean, again, I don't have a problem with them being a hair band. Okay, they come out, they're all full of leather, Too Fast for Love. Then they're Satan worshipers, right?
Right.
Then they go full hair. Okay, Theater of Pain, and then they go Motorcycle Gang, right? They changed up each time, but they're a hair metal band. They are, and they're probably the kings of it.
And I fucking love Motley Crue to this day. I mean, I don't want to see them live ever again because Vince can't sing, but they're still great. Number 3, Quiet Riot, first cassette I ever owned was the Mental Health album from Quiet Riot.
Yeah.
Love that band. They're way more than just Come On, Feel the Noise, a song they didn't even want to fucking record. They did it in like 2 takes. They're just like, fuck this. I don't even try it. They didn't even learn it properly. If you listen to it and you're a freak for Slade, the band they covered, who originally wrote the song, they didn't even like the drums in it, which sounds so great. He didn't even learn the fucking drums. He just was like, well, I think it goes like this. And then they recorded it like that. It's a whole fucking shit show. And it turned out great for them. And Kevin DuBrow hated it. He fucking hated singing it. He certainly loved spending the money on Blow, though.
That was their 3rd album, and that's 1983. And just for reference, Too Fast for Love is 81, dude.
Yeah, it's old. It's fucking good,
holy
too.
Shit.
Yeah.
81. All right, go ahead. All right, this is a good list.
Number 2, I put in this one, I kind of went round in circles on this one. Def Leppard, number 2. And they were obviously a hair band, but they never, maybe it's because they're British, they never went full like fucking Poison hair band. You know what I mean? They had a lot of great songs in the early albums.
Fucking Hysteria is really hair.
That's cheese.
Hysteria, I mean, it was them and Bon Jovi. And so if you're saying you had no problem calling Bon Jovi a hair band.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Def Leppard, On Through the Night, those first 2 albums are so fucking killer, and they're just straight ahead rock albums.
Yep.
They're straight rock albums. Pyromania is where I fucking lost my mind. And then Hysteria was so overproduced, and it was in that Bon Jovi. So my question to you is, do you even like the hair era of Def Leppard, or do you like that earlier stuff?
I like the earlier shit, man. You give me Pyromania. I love Pyromania.
Amazing album. And I still wouldn't include that in the hair, but because they morphed into a hair band and then it was more about chicks at the show than dudes, that certainly qualifies.
It's just like the quote from the movie Rockstar with Marky Mark, man. You got to write the power ballad so the girls show up, the dudes will show up. I mean, it's so simple. The power ballad ruined fucking everybody because you had to have that power ballad on your album to sell to get the crossover hit to top 40.
It was always the second single.
Yep.
Everybody had the exact same formula. It was the second single, and that's where you had to sell you had to sell 500,000 copies, and then you got the second album. Yep. If you didn't sell 500,000 copies, if you didn't go gold, you didn't get a second album. All you had to do was sell 500,000, which in those days you could do.
Number 1, my favorite. This is so easy. This wasn't even a thought. I didn't even.
Hang on a second.
I'm on number 1. Warrant, Motley Crue, Quiet Riot, Def Leppard. Number 1. It's fucking Whitesnake. Whitesnake. I'm saying it. I'm just saying it. Whitesnake.
Okay.
Whitesnake. I've grown to appreciate and love David Coverdale more and more every single day. You follow him on Twitter, dude. He's the greatest on Twitter. He's such a fucking dad joke, dude. He's funny. He puts up all these old pictures of the band from back in the 70s and 80s and shit. And it's fucking great. And the more I dive into their catalog, the more I'm like, there's some overproduction going on here, a little bit here and there, but man, that motherfucker can sing, and those songs are ripping.
And they are a hair band, but then there's going to be somebody that's going to argue, well, dude, that early stuff.
I know.
I mean, but he was in Deep Purple for a while, and that early stuff is really bluesy.
Yeah.
But 1987. Come on, here I go again.
They made their hay in the hair.
Come on.
It was all hair, and the fucking hair was out to here. Tony Katane crawling all over the car. I mean, the whole thing. So I still will crank up Whitesnake. I don't sit around cranking up a whole lot of Warren anymore. I'll still put on some Motley Crue, occasional Quiet Riot, once in a while some Def Leppard. But Whitesnake, you can find the Whitesnake at the Genty Homestead quite a bit. I was just cranking up. And I'm talking about deeper cuts too, man. I got like a double greatest hits album that's fucking great. Anyway, that's my top 5. I'm sticking to it. I had some alternates on there that
okay, wait. You know, I want to let me do this, and then we'll see if maybe something on my list was an alternate. So I wanted to put a fresh light on a couple of bands. So, you know, maybe I'm not doing this the right way.
Tora, Bang Tango.
Yeah, I'm not going there. Is Twisted Sister a hair metal band?
There's a big fucking hair on Dee Snider, man.
In their most productive years were in that era. I know that they struggled forever. It's the same thing. Like Whitesnake was a rock blues band, you know, but okay, here we go. In at number 5. You may argue with me on this, that they're not a hair band because they didn't have hair, but I don't get caught up in what Axl's hair was. I don't get caught up in it. Number 5, fight me, Tesla. Are they a hair band?
They had a different sound than everybody, man. They just sounded different than all the hair bands. So
they had a bluesy rock thing, but the era that they came out. And where are you going to hear their song? You got to go to XM Sirius satellite radio, okay? And you look at the hair channel or whatever. That's the only place you're going to hear Tesla. Are you going to hear Tesla on classic rock?
Occasionally. Yeah, we'll throw a couple. That's pretty rare. But
pretty rare, though, right?
I think Tesla just always got lumped in because they didn't know where to put them. They sounded different. Different. They were like, remember in the 90s, you had all the grunge going on. You had all the shit. And then you had like the fucking Black Crowes. And you're like, I don't know what to do with these guys. Because they weren't alternative, technically. Because they sounded different than everybody else. You're like, what do we do with the Black Crowes? And they kind of got left out in the weeds a lot when it came into once alternative radio started taking off. So I look at Tesla kind of the same way. I don't know if they're a hair band, man. I don't know.
They opened up. The first time I saw them, they were out on tour with your number 2 or 3 was Def Leppard. Yeah. So Leppard took them out. Mechanical Resonance, 1986. I remember, Cowboy, the song and the video on MTV, and that's what's so great about what we're talking about right now. Every band that you mentioned, every band that I'm about to mention, immediately brings up the visualization. So you're right. This band wasn't much to look at. The lead singer wasn't all that handsome. Okay. Yeah. But they just are in that. I could see somebody bitching that they're not a hair band. I'm putting them in at my number 5 just because I thought they were great musicians and I thought it was great rock. And I think they get hurt when it comes to classic rock. I was very surprised to hear that you said that you guys play a couple songs here and there. My problem with the hair metal is once it's deemed that, then classic rocks can just push that aside and say, well, we don't need to do that. That was just a hair metal thing. Right. I think a lot of the bands that I'm about to talk about should have a couple of songs in rotation on classic rock. Number 5, Tesla. Number 4, Cinderella, baby.
I had them as an alternate.
That Night Songs album, that Night Songs cassette, okay? Dude, unbelievable song after song after song after song. Night Songs, 1986, Long Cold Winter, 1988. Heartbreak Station, they're still in it. They're still in the game because it's 1990. So they timed it out beautifully. If you could hit something from 85 to 90 and you have a couple of hits, you can do festivals for the rest of your life and probably make a pretty comfortable living. Cinderella hit things beautifully. And they're another band. They had the hair, they had the kind of glam look, but their sound, they were a rock band.
Yeah.
They were just a flat out rock band because of the teased up hair and the look. I think Cinderella, there's a couple of songs that should be on classic rock radio. They're another one.
You don't hear Cinderella on regular
ever, right?
Ever. You don't.
Okay.
I love Cinderella. You know what? I couldn't, and I'll make another correlation to the 90s. It's so fucking weird. A couple of songs and I'm done because of the voice. It gets a little bit fucking, it's like, oh my God, dude, we get it. Okay. All right. I don't know if it does it for all the songs, but holy shit. After a while, I'm like, and a lot of people are like that with Smashing Pumpkins with Billy Corgan's voice. They're like, fuck his voice. Yep. After a couple songs, it gets like, it's like a kitten scratching on your fucking eardrums.
Do you get that way with, do you get that way with AC/DC?
You know what? After about 3 songs, if I got an album on, which I don't do very often, I find myself, I'm listening.
Yeah,
that's it.
I told you, I brought that up before. I said Rod Stewart. If I listen to 3 Rod Stewart songs, I'm like, get a fucking lozenge, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm checking out on this. Like my throat's scratchy right now. I love Cinderella. Night Songs is just a phenomenal album, man. I mean, Shake Me, and then hit after hit after hit. It was great. So they had three really solid albums, which that put them solidly at number 4. Number 4, number 3. I was going back and forth, but I felt good about what I did. I put it in at number 3. I put Dokken.
What?
Dude, George Lynch was just underneath Eddie Van Halen. I don't know how that sits. I know that's your guy, but I love Eddie too. George Lynch is such a fucking phenomenal guitar player. He wants to be out of the consideration of the hair metal scene. He doesn't want to be included on this list right now. He's probably going to show up at my front door and punch me in the nose, and he's probably still jacked. George Lynch
67.
Is he 67 years old?
I think that's what his birthday was like 2 days ago. I think George Lynch is fucking 67.
Dude, he's Eddie Van Halen fucking good on guitar. And Jeff Pilson is a fucking killer bass player. Mick Brown, he'll do on the drums. Don Dokken's a shitty singer, okay? Shitty. He's awful, okay?
I always liked his voice, though. I always liked his voice. If you go back and listen to Tooth and Nail, the production is shit. And the problem with Dokken was George Lynch is a great guitar player. I'd give you that all day long. Eddie Van Halen could write a song. There's the difference. And it sounded better. I
feel they should have been way bigger. I do. I feel they should have been way bigger. And one of the things, and I know it kind of worked for Van Halen for a while, but from the get-go, they hated each other. I mean, Don Dokken was a dick. And he took the songs and he went overseas and he said, hey, if you want to be a part of this band, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and by the way, we're calling it Dokken. George Lynch it was unspooling from the get-go. Yeah. And then he said, well, okay, I'll just go and do this for a little bit. And then I'm sure I'm going to land something huge. He didn't land something huge. And I really think he's that great a guitar player. And there are some great fucking Dokken songs.
Oh, no, I love Dokken. I love that band. And they were one of those bands that, had they got the right guy, the right producer to go, hey guys, look, I know you fucking hate each other, but let's write a couple of good songs, like some really good songs, get you a hit on the radio, and Dokken could be a different story today. But I think because they were, Don Dokken was such a dick, who's going to want to work with that? Nobody.
Yeah. Dokken's my number 3. Number 2, they were on the scene. They're a little bit heavier than everybody, but they were in this whole group. So if you're going to include Motley Crue, I'm going to put Wasp in there. Number 2 is Wasp. I fucking love their first 3 albums. Nice. Same thing, man. They come out of the gate. I Want to Be Somebody, Love Machine. Animal was later on, I think like a reissue. That is 84. 85 is Wild Child, Blind in Texas from The Last Command, and then 86. So they go 84, 85, 86. They go 3 years in a row, and they're riding. And they did get played on MTV. They weren't as big as some of these other bands, but everybody on the Strip went to go see Wasp. They were lighting their Wasp logo on fire.
Right.
And Blackie Lawless was eating fucking raw meat on stage. And he had the buzzsaw and he had fucking saws on his arms. And, you know, Chris Holmes, the guitar player, just for the scene in the documentary where he's drinking the bottles of vodka.
Oh, it's just fucking hard to watch now, man. It's
The decline of the Western civilization.
Yeah. And Wasp never got a lot of radio airplay though either. You know, they never got to that point where they got that kind of success. But yeah.
But they did get spins on MTV. They did. And then of course they are always on Headbangers Ball.
Right.
I love Wasp.
Nice.
In at number 2, and my number 1, you already took it, and my number 1, Whitesnake. It's just fucking Whitesnake. David Coverdale. I think you surprised me with an interview with him back when we were doing mornings, and I just couldn't believe we were talking to fucking David Coverdale. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, actually, I'm dropping my kids off at school right now. I'm like, well, what are you driving? He's like, well, I don't know, a Land Rover. I'm like, oh my God, we're talking to David Coverdale. He's dropping off his kids at school and we're doing a radio interview with him.
It was so great. He was so fucking British gentleman, you know?
He still looks pretty good. I know listen, he's old, man, but he's got
70.
He's got all that hair. He's in shape. He can still hit notes. I went to go see him a couple of years ago. And I saw my wife looking at him thinking, okay, that's who she's thinking about tonight if I do get lucky. She's looking at, and the best line of the Whitesnake concert, the best line, David Coverdale. And I couldn't see what was going on in the front row, but I think he still gets a bunch of females.
I'm sure.
He goes, oh, what lovely tits you have. I think I knew your mother.
Oh.
I'm like, dude, he's the fucking Tom Jones of metal or of hair metal or whatever you want to call it, of glam rock. He's the Tom Jones of it. He's awesome. Slide It In was 84, and I did get in at 84. So I did get in on the Slide It In era. And then 87, Still of the Night, Is This Love, Crying in the Rain. Here I go again. 87, they owned.
Yeah.
That was it.
I still have Whitesnake blasting around here. And people are like, are you fucking playing Whitesnake? I'm like, I am. I still have. Why? Because they're just great songs. And they don't have, there's just not quite the cheese factor on a lot of them. I mean, there's some cheese in there. But, you know, the problem with the hair metal was every song was about their dicks or tits. And I'm okay with that for a while.
Dude,
but after a while.
Whitesnake. What do you think they're named after?
I know, isn't it great? That's what's so cool.
A big
about
white
that
dick.
Yeah, it's fucking great, man. You gotta love it. And he's got such a dry sense of humor. You know, he was just fucking around when they came up with the name. He's goofing on it, man. That's what's so great about David Coverdale. The
other thing about Whitesnake is the players. David Coverdale always went out and because it was everybody was in Whitesnake at some point, you know. But I mean, guys like John Sykes and Tommy Aldridge has been playing drums forever. Okay. And Aldridge played for Ozzy. It was just the best of the best, kind of like Alice Cooper's always known for like always having the best musicians. And so many people started in Alice Cooper's band and went elsewhere. David Coverdale could get the absolute best cream of the crop out there. You know, I want to be in Whitesnake. And you kind of knew you weren't going to be in there for a long time. And then if you stayed for a couple of albums, it was great. But if not, then you had a resume and everybody knew that you were in Whitesnake, you know. The musicianship in that band has always been amazing. Even the last time I went to go see him, I can't remember the guy's name that's playing guitar. He's been there forever. But Reb Beach was playing guitar. From Winger. Yeah. And damn, I mean, those guys can still wail. You and I had the same number 1, Whitesnake. Damn it.
Weird, right?
Motley Crue are the kings. Motley Crue are the kings of hair metal. I do. I think they are. A lot of it is Quiet Riot and that album breaking through and knocking out Michael Jackson and becoming the number 1 album, a heavy metal album at number 1, probably is one of the most important things for the genre that we're talking about. But to think that Too Fast for Love was 81.
Yeah. Yeah, shit is great though. But
Quite right. That was their third album, man. They were struggling,
They
you
were
know, and then
dying.
when you see the history and then, you know, Randy Rhoads in the band and all of that.
Yeah.
Who was bubbling under for you?
I had Cinderella bubbling under.
Okay.
I had Skid Row because I just love the
Aha.
Sebastian Bach era Skid Row. I love that shit. His voice is just second to none.
Is that hair metal?
Yeah, they were kind of a dirtier band. Yeah, they weren't really hair metal, you know, but they were in that era.
They came in late.
Yeah,
They came in late, and I'll give them a ton of credit because they did what you said. You know, they hit the song. What was it? "Youth Gone Wild" is the rock song, and then just
18
fucking
Life.
let's go get the girls, right?
Yep.
But his vocals on "I Remember You"
Forget it.
it's such a standout from the 80s.
Yep.
It's one of the best vocals ever, I think. They were the one band that didn't double down on the cheese. They went the opposite way. I don't know if it didn't help them because "Slave to the Grind" was fucking heavy.
Yeah,
It wasn't hair. It wasn't a hair glam, nothing. They only had one album that would qualify for that. I'm sure the record company begged them to do 19 in Life. Please give us something. I Still Remember You. Something. Give us something from the first album. And they said,
Remember You.
and they said, fuck you, dude. "Slave to the Grind" is heavy, man. And it didn't sell.
No, and Sebastian Bach was obviously, he's still fucked up. He's crazy. You know, he's just nuts. So obviously he does not get along with that band because they could go out and do a reunion tour and make a bunch of money, but everyone seems to like not want to do that because I think of Sebastian Bach. He's got the LSD, the lead singer disease, big time. But he was like, what? The guys in the band were much older, and Sebastian Bach was only like 18 or 19 when he sang for that first album. For Skid Row. He was
may have been 20. He may have been 20.
Super young.
Yeah, those guys, definitely Snake Sabo he was probably the oldest because Snake was milling about trying to get into Bon Jovi at one point. So,
right.
But Bon Jovi, you know, helped that band out, and Bon Jovi helped out Cinderella a lot,
right,
back in the day. So Bon Jovi might be the king then, if you look at it. Bon Jovi, Motley Crue. What's the biggest thing to come out of the hair era?
I mean,
I think it's between those two, right?
It has to be because Bon Jovi's still selling albums, and I just never got into a whole lot of Bon Jovi shit. I just couldn't get past it, and I just couldn't get there with Bon Jovi. Good songs, like some of them. Saw him at Jazz Fest a couple of times, and you know the shitty thing about Bon Jovi when you see them live, and they sound good, but because you know they're singing a lot of high shit. Poor John Bon Jovi, they slow all the songs down so he can stay in his range.
So they're dropping him down a key and stuff.
They're dropping him down. So like, it's not, you know, those songs all had a lot of energy. So, you know, he's singing "Runaway," which is fucking high at the end. You're like, it's so slow. You're like, feels weird. Yeah. You can't do it.
Yeah, let it run away. I can do it. Take me on the road, bro.
Okay. Yeah. We'll put you right up there. Yeah. I think the hair situation is a little different, but yeah, I can never get into Bon Jovi, man. I don't know about you.
Bon Jovi, because chicks were into it. We went to concerts. We went to go see them.
Sure.
That was a great place to be. There was just chicks everywhere.
Yeah.
You were going to Bon Jovi and you would just say, "Oh, we're going for the chicks," you know, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm wearing my Iron Maiden shirt, but I'm going to Bon Jovi.
And hopefully there's a decent opening act that you could like, I'm here for the opening act, man.
Correct.
I'm here for some dude.
maybe the band that embraced what we're talking about the most and has not gotten a mention because I can't stand them, Poison.
No, I fucking hate that band.
I hate them, but if you said hair glam rock,
no, they're it.
And they're it, right?
They're it.
They were so unapologetic. Where we talked about Motley Crue was a little bit of a chameleon. They went with it. I'm sure they had different outfits for different fucking albums, whatever. But I mean, those were chicks on that first album, man. Look what the cat dragged in. Those were chicks.
I'm like, look at these girls in this band. They don't sound like girls. What the hell? I was pretty young, and I was like, what the fuck's going on here?
If you go to glam metal, hair bands, Hair Nation, House of Hair, whatever.
Right.
Is there, okay, the book that I love so much, what's it called? Nothing but a good time.
Yeah.
The band Summer, they're certainly not the big. They're not anywhere near as big as like we're talking about Bon Jovi or Motley Crue. But are they it? Are they the ground? Not they didn't start it, but they embodied it, I think, better than anybody. I think they were really goofy and they were hard workers. Okay. That's another thing that I learned about them. They were hard workers. If you went out and you passed out 2,000 flyers, well, Poison passed out 5,000 flyers, you know, and nobody worked harder than them. And they did all that cheesy shit. You said you you brought up Warrant. They did all of that weird, kind of choreography and stuff. And, they were stupid. I think they had Silly String back in the day and they did all kinds of stupid shit, but nobody had more chicks showing up to their show. Even Motley Crue said this. Nobody had more girls showing up to their shows than Poison on the Sunset Strip.
I look at Poison as the band that, like, when you think of, like, when you say cheese metal, the hair metal, it's Poison. I look at Poison as like, okay, that has to be the end, because they took it to such a place where it's like, okay, something has to stop now, because anything after Poison was going bigger and girlier and weirder. And it just, you could see it unspooling and falling apart. The songs just weren't good. It was just all about the flash, and it was awful. And I look at Poison as sort of okay, we need to end this now because we can't have something more Poison than Poison, because it's awful. It's fucking terrible.
Going back to both of you and I are number one. What is classic rock's take on Whitesnake? What do they recognize? Here I Go Again, and that's it.
Here I Go Again gets played. I play that, and then you get a couple. Still of the Night, maybe, if there's like a little specialty thing going on or a birthday, but really it's Here I Go Again. That's their song. You're going to play that. We play 18 in Life and I Remember You, Skid Row.
Okay.
Warrant, you don't really get that. Motley Crue, we play a decent amount of Motley Crue, but it's like Dr. Feelgood.
You play Twisted Sister, or did that just become a little kid band?
No, man. We play I Want to Rock, and we play we play I Want to Rock. But it's not a lot. It's occasionally. Def Leppard, shit ton of Def Leppard. Come On Feel the Noise from Quiet Riot.
I really view Def Leppard, and we already talked about it, but I view them as a classic rock band. I do.
They didn't seem like they were chasing the cheese. You know what I mean? Like, they just did their thing. And some of it was cheesy, but they weren't trying to be all glam and flash. They had the torn up jeans and the Union Jack shirt.
87 hysteria, things got out of control.
I'll throw it at you.
Out of control.
I'll throw a band at you. You ready?
Go.
Because I wrestled and I fucking still love this band. I went in a love era for a while, then I went, nah, and I'm back to liking them. The Scorpions. Now, the Scorpions have been around fucking since fucking the 1920s. Okay, those guys are fucking old in German.
Yep.
Okay, but by God, in the hair metal era, the 83.
That's where they flourished.
Love It for Sting and all that shit, man.
Dude, I love the band, and I'm putting them with Ozzy and Dio, who embraced Kiss. They embraced the hair metal. They glammed it up. They teased it up a little bit. Their hair. They used some Aquanet and some Final Net and all of that. And their most probably profitable time and their most productive time was probably during that. But they're in an Ozzy category.
Yeah.
They were just around way too long, and I was into them early. Love Drive and Breakout, I was into that stuff early. So
good stuff. I didn't put them on. I didn't put them on.
But
for those
Still
reasons. Loving
You and all of that. I mean, that's that 85 to 87, 88.
Yep.
That they were kicking ass and they were on MTV and they
Rock You Like a Hurricane. I mean, doesn't get bigger than that, dude. They're in the cage, fucking Rock You Like a Hurricane,
What does classic rock play? Just that?
Rock You Like a Hurricane, No One Like You. That's pretty much it. You're not getting much out of the Scorpions. You're going to get your big hits and that's it. But yeah, no, classic rock will dabble into the hair bands. But the Scorpions was the big one for me that I was like, I kind of went round and round, but I didn't put it on my list for the obvious reason that they've been around fucking forever, And I was thinking
I'm just saying, I still think because you're in the genre, and I don't know if they even test these songs on people. I think they're missing out on Tesla's, Cinderella's. There's certainly some more Whitesnake in there.
Yeah.
there's more than one Rat song. I wouldn't
play
argue.
round and round.
Yeah. Okay. But there's more than one Rat song though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think because they're under that umbrella of hair, I think it's bad for business. And it doesn't help that the name of the channel on Sirius XM is Hair Nation. And that's where you go to hear everything that we're talking about. But I think if terrestrial radio, which is what Jason and I do, if classic rock, if there wasn't that hair metal stigma, I think you could play that stuff. But you just laugh it off as hair metal, or you feature it as such. I don't know. Like I remember back in the day doing hair metal weekends and stuff. And, and then you're almost still kind of poking fun at it. Like, oh, it's kind of like a guilty pleasure, that I like this Slaughter song, or, that I like this Winger song. I kind of think that stuff could be in the rotation. And I think a 50-year-old dude, I think is beyond going, it's not cool. I think he would like that in a mix, but that there's a ton of time and money spent on testing music. I don't even think that stuff gets considered.
I think a lot of it doesn't. I think a lot of it, it depends on the song. You can't look at it as a band. You got to look at it as an individual song. If it's got that sound where it's still, if it sounds cheese, then you're not going to fucking play it. You know what I mean? It still has to be a hit. It has to have a certain sound sonically to fit in the radio station. I think we could be playing a lot more stuff, but you don't want to go too far because then you're going to lose anybody who doesn't like that shit. There's a delicate balance there because, as you know, the hair metal and the heavy metal guys, and I want to be careful how I say this, but it's true. They're a small group compared to the mass appeal stuff. They're a small but very vocal group. Okay, they make a lot of fucking noise when they complain and all that shit. But if you just played fucking Pantera and all that shit over and over again, and Metallica and Megadeth and Slaughter and the hair stuff, you wouldn't have a fucking radio station. You just wouldn't. Okay, that's why it's on this little channel, and it's it's not their most listened to channel on Sirius.
No, clearly it's not.
So
but
you got to be careful with it. You can't go too far over the edge with it.
Let me throw this at you. What about a combo? Because you and I are the same. I know you like Nirvana, and I know you like Whitesnake. And one killed the other. Okay.
Technically, yeah.
But you're still talking about that same era. Now, I know that you're getting your butter and your bread with Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd over there, but those hardcore fans, man, they're aging out. They're aging out. So now you're looking at a 50-year-old guy who loves everything that we just talked about, and also loves Pearl Jam, loves the 30th anniversary of Metallica, loves the 30th anniversary of Nirvana, of Soundgarden, of all that stuff that we've been talking about, and the 29th anniversary of some big albums. In some crazy world, would anybody be wild enough to blend those together?
Yeah.
Could it work?
Yeah, it totally could work. But here's the problem, Rod. And we've talked about it, and I've talked about this, and I've said it a billion times on this podcast. And I've had conversations with my program director about the problem with classic rock radio. Okay. Classic rock radio, when you say classic rock to someone 50, 45, maybe 40, and then 60, 70. Okay. You immediately hear it. You hear Jimi Hendrix, you hear Led Zeppelin, you hear The Doors, you hear Tom Petty, you hear Leonard Skinner, you hear the Allman Brothers, you hear all that shit, right? Here's the fucking problem. And we've said this a million times, okay? And I know when we start talking about music, people get pissed off, but I'm going to give you the reasons, okay? Once you turn 54 years old, nobody cares about you anymore. In the advertising world, they don't give you get rated 18 to 34. 25 to 54 is that magic spot in the ratings. Right. 25, 54. If you turn 55, nobody fucking cares about you anymore. Rod, I'm turning 50 this year. I know you're in your 50s. Yes, that radio station will work. You think I, a 50 fucking year old dude, wants to ever hear Steve Miller again? No, we play the shit out of it. You think, I mean, these bands are aging out. Remember, okay, and this is going to go back to the early days. One of the first podcasts we did, we talked about Buffalo. Okay, we had the station we interned at called The Fox in Buffalo, New York. Okay, and it was playing your cheese metal, it was playing your Skynyrd's, it was playing a little bit of Metallica, and this was all before the grunge took off. Okay, and it started to take off before we got really going on the station.
Because back then, when it was the Fox, let me get in there, because the Fox, the rock station that was rocking with Dokken and was playing Ozzy and AC/DC and a little bit of classic stuff.
Yep.
Yes, so they were playing that stuff, and they were integrating, at that time, they were integrating Nirvana. And I remember those guys having to play Weezer. Yeah. Weezer's that old. They had to play Weezer. Like, what the fuck is this? And these guys, they were older than us. They were the rock gods of Buffalo, and they were being forced to play some of this new stuff. Nirvana, Alice in Chains was rocky, so they were okay with it. But there were some things that were being introduced, Urge Overkill, that they weren't happy about it. But for a brief time, that format that I'm kind of talking about did kind of live.
Think about the music. Okay, when we talk music on this podcast, really our wheelhouse is late 70s. That's when we started getting into music. We're talking Judas Priest, AC/DC, Van Halen era, late 70s. That's our wheelhouse. When we've talked about this before, it's like when you're between like 13 and 20, they're really 13 and 18. That's when you really make your musical choices in life. Those are with you through all your big first moments in your life, your first beer, your first chick, your first kiss, all that. I agree. Your first car. That's the shit you love. Okay. And that's what's going to go on. Okay. We play Nirvana, we play Soundgarden, we play Pearl Jam on our classic rock station. And, I can't tell you how many times I've argued with people. That's not classic rock. Really? It's 30 fucking years old. What's classic rock then? If you're going to define it by age, it's totally classic rock.
The stuff that, okay, oldies. What's oldies? Oldies is Elvis. Just think about that.
Beatles.
Elvis and the Beatles. When we talk in radio terms, that's oldies.
How many oldie stations do you hear anymore, though? You don't hear them because they can't sell them. Oldie stations went and blew up off. They're gone. There's a few here and there. You can't sell them. The Zeppelin that you're playing, and I love Zeppelin, and the bands that you mentioned, Skynyrd and Allman Brothers, that stuff is almost oldies. Almost, it is.
And classic rock is kind of almost similar to, our station is weird. The buzz is weird. It's wildly successful. It's a top performing in the country, and they can't figure out why is that working in Houston? Because we're not playing all this. We're not hitting you over the head with all this new shit. And I don't run the station. Everybody knows the radio wizard runs the station, but he adheres to you got to dance with the people that brought you to the dance. And that's some of the stuff that got us here. So you'll hear some Pearl Jam. Linkin Park is still Linkin Park is 20 years old.
I know.
You know what I mean? It's like, what? Linkin Park is 20 years old. Papa Roach, this stuff's getting to be 20 years old now. Those bands are going to be eligible for the Hall of Fame soon.
Yeah.
I do think that classic rock is becoming oldies. I don't ever see anybody being daring enough to put the music in there that got killed by the music and seeing a grunge rock hair metal thing. But, I will say this about the buzz here in Houston. I've been working, and it's just like chipping away. It's just been chipping away at him forever. He finally tested some Guns N' Roses.
Wow.
We got some Guns N' Roses on the air.
Holy shit. But see,
we got some Guns N' Roses on the air.
You got to think about that. That's for your upper demo, as they call it in the biz, your older folks, man. Again,
everyone's excited. When it comes on, everybody loses their fucking mind.
Yeah.
And it's just Jungle.
It's, of course,
Sweet Child of Mine. I think Paradise City, which I haven't played yet, but I've played Jungle and I've played Sweet Child of Mine in the morning. And I've been working the wizard forever on this. I said, it's like Metallica. Metallica doesn't belong with alternative, but we got in on it so early that nobody thinks anything of it.
Right.
You just don't think anything of it.
Right.
It's like, there they are. It's Metallica. They're not alternative. They're a rock band.
One of the big conversations.
Guns N' Roses supersedes all of that too.
Yeah. One of the big conversations you hear with classic rock is, your audience is aging out. That's getting over the age of 54, 55, 60. Again,
Jeez,
you look
Christ,
at
it's right around the
advertising,
corner.
nobody gives a shit. So, does someone who's 45, who's in that sweet spot, they give a shit about fucking Steve Miller? They even know who he is? Do they? I mean, that's where it gets weird. Those songs, do you stop playing them because the person who likes that song's too fucking old? That's
Now,
the
classic
big
rock
debate.
stations do very well. So,
Oh, they're money making machines if you got a good one. Yeah, you're never
Yeah.
gonna stop playing Aerosmith and all that shit.
yeah, they do very well. They're banging the hits. I mean, it's a formula that works, and
But-
like all formats, it's a formula.
But you got to ask yourself this question, Rod, and I know the answer. And I know you know the answer. The reason that a lot of classic rock radio stations are successful is not strictly the music. All of them, any successful, very successful classic rock station has a great morning show. That's probably been there for fucking 100 years.
Mhm.
Other dude are 100 years old, and they just bring in the audience. They bring in the money. Dude, you've got a morning show that's been on the buzz for a long time. You are one of the main reasons that station works. It's the music, of course, but it's
Oh, I
your
tell them that
damn
all the
show.
time.
It's your damn show. Radio Wizard, if you're listening right now, it's the morning show that's driving the buzz in Houston. Yeah. But without one, the other doesn't work.
You're right.
Fucking work. They're flipping that format. I promise you, man. Well, Rod, we got to move on. We could talk about this all night. This sounds like a conversation we have almost every time we hang out on your fucking balcony.
Yeah.
I swear to God, we have the same conversation.
This is Jason and I, a couple of beers, like, okay, man, let's do the ABCs of hair metal bands, and we can go through the whole alphabet, and you start bringing out the Sleaze Bees and, all kinds of stuff. Bang Tango, I think you already mentioned Tora Tora.
Yeah.
I mean, there was just so much.
Saigon Kick.
There was so much back then.
Much shit. Well, Rod, I want to throw something at you, and it's a weird thing. Think about this while I talk about Lucky's Pub for a quick second. Is there anyone that you follow on Facebook, who's one of your friends on Facebook, that you don't really know? Maybe you don't know them at all, but for some reason they just come up in your algorithm, but like you're kind of sucked into their story. I'll explain in a minute. I got a
Okay.
reason for this because it's fucked up. But man, I tell you what, right now, fall is the time for sports, man. If there's ever a better time, I don't think there is, because right now you got baseball playoffs gonna get warmed up pretty soon, man. NFL's back. I was actually following a little bit of Buffalo Sabres hockey the other night. They won a preseason game, dude. Hockey's coming around. The NBA's coming around. You got college football, dude. You need a bunch of TVs in your life. You know where you get a bunch of TVs? You get a bunch of TVs at Lucky's Pub West, I-10 at Barker Cypress in Houston. College football all day on Saturday. All the NFL games all day on Sunday. Go Bills. Plus Astros baseball postseason coming up, all on over 40 TVs with great game day specials. Amazing food, the best pizza on the best side, the killer wings, the burgers, and of course, the famous Philly cheese steak egg rolls. And
Damn.
I swear to God, damn it, man, you do some cool stuff here, man. The first ever Boobs Rock car show is coming up Saturday, October 16th. Let me tell you about car shows. You know why I like going to them? I like to look at the cars, but you know what I like better? Smelling. You smell the old leather, the old paint, and they start one up. You smell that gasoline with the octane. Just, I love the smells of a car show. I'm a freak. Sorry, man, but I'm looking forward to this, man. Saturday, October 16th. Get the details on the Lucky's Pub West Facebook page, Lucky's Pub West, I-10 at Barker Cypress. Always an ice cold beer at a fair price. Rod, I'm caught up in a story on Facebook. And it's not really a story. It's not an interesting story. I'm stuck. And I can't get away from it because I know it's not going to end well.
When you say story, is it an actual story, how
No.
Facebook uses it, or you just a page?
It's a dude. It's some dude just, I don't even know who he is. Some dude who just ended up on my Facebook page. Apparently I accepted his friend request 2 years ago.
Okay.
And he's in my algorithm. Okay. And he'll like shit and he'll make comments and he's a nice guy, cool guy through Facebook. That's all I know. Okay. I don't think I've ever.
Where does he live?
He lives in New Orleans somewhere.
Okay.
Suburbs somewhere. I don't even know.
You've not met him.
I don't think I've ever met him. If I did, it was sort of a, hey, hi man, how you doing? That's it. And he's
Okay.
a listener. Very cool guy. He posts pictures of basically what he eats every day, which drives me insane. I never understood that. Okay. And he's not eating good food. Okay.
It sounds horrible already.
It is. It's terrible. He posts pictures and it's all like deep fried chicken, mashed potatoes, French fries, you know, fucking, and he won't drink diet anything. It's all real. He's all like real Coke with real sugar, a real Budweiser, a real this, a real that. And he's got the worst diet I've ever fucking seen in my life, right? So I never like any of this shit. I never comment on it. But then he'll go on to say, yeah, man, I was cutting the grass today and I had to sit down for a little while. And he gets, and through pictures on Facebook, he's overweight. He's probably 60, maybe 60. Guessing.
Okay.
I don't know this guy. But because he posts pictures every day of his shitty diet, I'm like, holy fuck, this guy's going to have a heart attack. And then a couple of weeks ago, he posted a picture of all the pills he takes every day. He's got a fucking, almost like a cereal bowl full of pills every day he takes to probably combat all the shit he's been eating all these years, right?
Can you tell, is anyone other than you looking at this shit? Are you liking it when you see it? Like, hey, man,
No.
Great job on those pills, bro.
Hey, wow, keep eating those, boy. You're doing great.
I mean, are people liking, like, dude, awesome
Yes.
pills, man. Shit, that's fucking 20 pills. Dude, that's a new record, huh?
Every once in a while, I'll dive into the comments. He'll post a picture of a steak and gravy and all this shit, which, don't get me wrong, man, I love all that stuff. Or I used to. But like, and I'll look at the comments like, and I'm thinking, this motherfucker's going to have a heart attack and die.
You're following him, and this is like when people went to go see Evel Knievel. You went to go fucking see him crash. You're watching this guy's shit, and you're waiting for his post in the ambulance.
Yes, I am 100% absolutely. I'm on a death
makes you a
watch.
psycho too.
It makes me insane. I can't. I can't unfollow him. I can't. I got to know what he's doing. I got to know what's happening. And again, I don't spend any time on it. I scroll right. I'm like, ooh, God, he's eating that shit today, and I keep on going. But for probably the last 6 months, it's just now it's in my head, and I had to get it out. Now I said it. I put it in the world. If the poor guy dies soon, I'm gonna feel horrible. But it ain't my fault.
You should, dude.
No, it's not my fucking fault. He's eating like a moron. You can't eat like that every fucking day. And I'm talking every single day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, bacon every day. So I'm on this weird thing. So then I was thinking, I'm like, is there somebody you don't know who you just see on your Facebook page all the time? And somehow you get caught up in their bullshit stories. And you're like, why am I paying attention to this horse shit? I don't know this person, but there's a story there and I just keep following it.
I don't know if I have that situation, but this is somebody that I'm kind of friends with.
I know you gotta be careful.
You gotta be careful with some of this shit, right?
They may listen and then you're fucked.
So here's how I'm going to word this. I tried to make sure, and I think I mentioned it to my wife, make sure we're not acting like the first fucking people ever to get married. Okay?
Yeah.
The countdowns, it's cool, man. You found your dress, put that picture up, But I'm dealing with a situation, and I know you can just unfollow, and I'm sure there's things that you can do, like to unfollow, and she wouldn't know that I'm not looking at her shit.
Absolutely.
But when somebody just thinks that they're the first person to ever fucking get married, and then I know this is going to happen. She's an awesome chick. She's going. I'm just going to fucking give up social media if she gets pregnant, because it's just going to be an update every day. There's going to be a belly picture every fucking day. And she's like, countdown is on. The countdown is on. Blah. It's a daily thing. Yeah. If she makes one arrangement, okay, if they decide on the fucking napkins, it's up, okay? And you know that there's a lot involved with planning a wedding, and it sounds like she's going to have a big one and a nice one. And again, I love her. She's a great person. But the guy doesn't seem to be as pumped as her. I'm noticing that already. He's just kind of there like, fuck, I didn't know she was going to be doing this shit. And I'm being dragged into everything. She looks happy as AF, okay? She looks the happiest she's ever been. But how do you not have any kind of self-awareness that you're like, Rod, unfollow her? I can't. I go through it. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't ruin my day. But I just like look and then I'm just like, come on, man. Come on. You picked out a few candles. That's it. It's a candle day for you. Oh, big candle day today, you know? And then fucking Christ, when they went for their tasting, forget it. It's insane. So I guess I'm in a situation like that, but I'm kind of trapped in it too.
Yeah.
But I stop, I look, I'm like, oh crap, okay. That's great. You're happy. I hope you stay this fired up, you know. I just feel that he's not as fired up in the pics.
No. And then I got another person I follow who like goes to a lot of concerts, and they spend apparently most of their time just filming fucking on their shitty iPhone the concert footage.
Yeah,
you know,
that's like the guy
shit.
that's fucking filming the 4th of July fireworks.
Yeah, it sounds like shit. Nobody cares. I'm not watching that bullshit. Here's 50 videos from fucking the Weezer show from last night. Who cares? Nobody's watching that shit. You're wasting time. Put your phone away and watch the goddamn concert. Yeah, this poor guy, dude. I'm gonna have to update you if he goes into the hospital or something happens to him. I'm gonna have to keep updated on this guy now because it's freaking me out, and I can't not watch.
You know, everyone's gonna ask for his Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's gonna ask. We're all gonna start following him. I'm kind of interested myself just to see what the dude's having for dinner tomorrow.
No, and I know because I normally hate when people post pictures. I'm like, really, dude, you're gonna fucking post picture today. But actually, somebody commented one time because I'm not the only guy. I think there's other people watching him on a death watch because one of his buddies posted, "Hey, have you seen your cardiologist lately? Because you're like gonna have a heart attack." He goes, "I just went last week. He said everything's great." I'm like, how does he say everything's great? Doesn't he want to change your diet just a little bit? Maybe have a piece of lettuce occasionally or something, dude.
Maybe I don't know. There's another. Yeah, I don't know.
Dude,
you got to be careful what you talk about. It's Facebook. It's friends of yours. I don't have anybody that, you know, you're following and you don't know him. I guess I don't have a whole lot of people that I don't know. I don't do a whole lot of Facebook on my own.
Right.
My wife's on there and she posts a lot of kid pictures. My mom watches it. And I would just say, you know what, if it gets annoying, just unfollow her. Okay. She's not going to be upset. But my mom, you know, we have people that we're not here, you know, so instead of just she puts it on Facebook and there's a lot of that going on. I don't do a whole lot of my own. You know, I was that guy that was like late on Daughter Day and all of that shit. I do it for work. You know, I don't think I'd have a Twitter account if I wasn't Rod Ryan on the radio.
Right.
I certainly wouldn't have a TikTok.
No.
I like Instagram, and Facebook is for old people. You know, Facebook's old. It's an older thing. It's just my mom, your mom, our parents, our grandparents. They're on Facebook, you know, and that's what they get. And it's just, we're talking about Facebook, and anybody that is 25 or under, they're like, fucking Facebook. What? I don't even know if I still have one.
Right. Yeah, no, it's weird. Or you run into somebody and they say, "Hey, did you see that thing I put on Facebook the other day?" No,
I didn't.
No, I didn't, dude. I live in the real world. I try not to spend a lot of time looking at shit, but I can't stop looking at this guy. Every time I see something new, I'm like, he's eating that. That's awful.
No, I didn't, because I just saw what fucking shoes she's got to wear after the ceremony. And then here's all the girls going to be wearing these flip-flops. Come on.
But you know what it is that like every dude is like, now you're forced to relive your own pain from putting all your own wedding together. You're like, oh yeah, I remember all that shit. What do you think the girls should wear afterwards? I don't fucking care.
I remember actually saying it. We're not going to be those people that act like we're the first people to have a kid, get married. You know, those are the two big ones.
Yeah. So, Rod, any final thoughts tonight? We got to wrap this up. I got shit to do. I got to go put on a different vest for later. This is good.
My final thought, and it's coming from someone of my age, but I just mentioned it on the radio briefly. I'm feeling very nostalgic with all of these anniversaries, and nobody's doing it bigger and better than Metallica right now with the 30th anniversary of the Black Album. Right. They have so much stuff out there. I did an unboxing of one of the big one, the one where all the artists covered their songs. And then it's weird though. Think about this box set, who's buying it? Because I think it needs to be used. Bring it out, play with it a little bit. Don't buy a box set and sit it on the shelf. But if you buy this box set, you're going to have a CD player. You're going to have a record player, and you're going to have a DVD player. That's people don't know. It's 30 years. So most people that are excited about something 30 years ago probably still have those, but a lot of people don't. And that's what's coming in these box sets. They're going to do a Nirvana one down the road. I don't know why they didn't time it out. We know that we did it last week, but what I did is I busted out my CD of Nirvana Nevermind and I put it on. And like you, we play a ton, you start hearing stuff a lot. You're like, okay, I don't need to hear it anymore. We play a decent amount of Nirvana and I put it on and dude, Smells Like Teen Spirit fucking bangs. Okay. I was transported back to hearing it. I was transported back to 91.
Right.
Smells Like Teen Spirit. Into In Bloom, bro. Mm-hmm. Okay. Come As You Are. Breed. Lithium. What the fuck, dude? Those songs, one after another. Dude, it was so great to listen to it in its entirety. I know we live in Spotify world and we're just doing singles and we're making playlists and everything. And I know this is Old Man River telling you this, but man, there's something magical about listening to an album and then thinking about the band and the song order. 5 fucking bangers right out of the gate. It was mind-blowing, dude, to put on the CD and hit play. It was a great experience. I enjoyed the shit out of it. Lithium, Into Poly, Into Territorial Pissings, Into Drain You.
Yep.
On a Plane is in there. Lounge Act is the only kind of song that is just, Lounge Act is just okay. Everything else on that album is fucking nails.
Yep.
My thing to all of you is, and that's the beauty of vinyl, because you're not changing out. You're going through all that time of cleaning the record and putting the needle down. You're going to at least get a side of the record. And I enjoy that. And that's the most enjoyment for me with the record thing, is listening to the side of an album. And then I'll flip it over and listen to the other side. But I don't have that with Nirvana, but I played the CD and it was fucking glorious to hear. And I'm asking everyone, go treat yourself and listen to an album that you haven't maybe heard in a while. And you'll hear it differently. Smells Like Teen Spirit sounded so fucking raw and great. It was awesome. So that's my recommendation. That's my final thought.
I love to do the album thing with vinyl, and I've talked about this before. It's like there's bands, and I'll go to any thrift shop, any bargain bin. I will just pick up $2 albums, even if it's just got a weird cover. I'll buy it because I'll bring it back. I don't give a shit. It's $2, Put it on at the house, give it a few listens, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is really, really good, or this is shit. Yeah. I picked up a couple of Tommy Bolin albums, and I was just your average, barely fan. I can't get enough of it now because I have the vinyl. I would have never experienced it. I would have never learned about him and become a super fan. Unfortunately, he's fucking dead. But
that first album, Teaser, every song,
so good. It's
every song.
It's because of vinyl.
Yeah, my cool uncle turned me on to him when I was young, and just unbelievable. The second album is okay, but Teaser is just unbelievable. And he looks like more a chick on the cover of that album than all 4 of the Poison guys combined.
Yeah, it is awesome. It's so
just
great.
The picture that they took for the album cover.
So fucking great. So yeah, I agree. And then speaking of more music, Rod, it was this weekend back in 1992. We talk about 91 all the time. How, oh my God, 91 was so great. Well, 92 didn't suck. Here's why. Alice in Chains' Dirt album and Stone Temple Pilots' Core album was released on the same day back in 1992, this weekend.
And we were playing that stuff on our metal show. So then there's the year that you and I meet, because Sex Type Thing was sent to us as a single before we got the album Core. And we were already banging that.
Yep.
And then when they sent us the album, I remember I am smelling like a rose. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then it just goes boom, boom, dun, 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 dun. That album is fucking killer. And Dirt's amazing. I mean, Dirt is that's where you get down in a hole, you know.
Be careful with Dirt. Be careful with Dirt. You put that on like a full album like we just talked about, you're going to be pretty bummed out by the end of it, because that album is like real heavy. It was all when the heroin was really taking over. But I mean, it's so great. So great. Rain When I Die, Wood, Them Bones. It's such a great album. Man, it gets a little bit Bummerville by the end of it, man. That one's a tough one to keep going, but Sex Type Thing. I remember we were sitting in the studio at the college radio station, and you're like, dude, you got to hear the song. I'm like, what is it? Because, you know, we go and pick the songs for that week's Friday afternoon metal show, which of course I know that STP isn't metal now, but it was heavy as shit when it first came out.
Yeah.
And you're like, you got to hear this fucking song. I remember putting it on in the studio going, oh, whoa, what is that? And it was just great. It was so just powerful. Just powerful. Yeah. STP eats a lot of shit. And they ate a lot of shit back in the day because they were kind of after all the grunge, and everyone just called them like grunge wannabes and all that shit. But they were working on that shit at the same time this was all kind of happening.
They were just a great rock band. They were a fucking great rock band.
One of my favorite bands live too. Easily one of my favorite live bands I've ever seen. Weiland was just, when he was on, man, there's no touching him. He was great.
He was an awesome front man. He was an awesome front man. But what a great, I mean, yeah. So I would think STP would do this. I don't know what Alice in Chains would recognize that, but STP, look for a 30th anniversary because it's their debut. Not that Dirt's not great. It's just not their debut. Facelift, you know, was a year and a half, 2 years before. But yeah, STP will do something fun with that, I think. And that will be great. You know, I would love to hear rough mixes. And, you know, I think they could do a really good 30th anniversary of that.
There's probably some unheard tracks. Here's a question for you. I know we've talked about this, and I know we got to wrap this up, but fuck it. Does STP go in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame down the road?
Shit.
That's a tough one because, fuck, they got the songs. They got the, you know, did they influence anybody? Probably a lot of people. The Dead singer.
I don't think the current assholes that gather in whatever that room is.
Yeah.
I don't think they even know who they are, unfortunately. Right. I don't. Alice in Chains. I mean, yeah, of course, there's name recognition. They're going to know who they are.
It'll be a few years, you know.
I don't know. I don't know. But
that's
you can't weird. Just keep propping up shit, you know, and still trying to get. I'm not even in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame mode right now, but
you know, pisses everybody up.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't keep trying to get some techno bands in there, you know, that you felt like were so influential. And Kraftwerk, fuck your Kraftwerk. I get it. Okay, Kraftwerk. Every year they're propping them up, you know, and they try to get some of these other bands in there. Just, you know what? Hey, maybe take LL Cool J off and then maybe put STP in there and just see if, you know, they get any nibbles, you know?
I don't know. It's weird. It's one of those bands that are kind of like, I think eventually they go in. Personally, I think eventually. It ain't going to be soon, but eventually they'll get it. There's other.
I think they recognize the importance of that movement. I thought that maybe once Nirvana went in, it's like, okay, we got one grunge band in there. They're not going to do anything. And then they fucking put Pearl Jam in first year of eligibility. Like what? Right. What?
Yeah,
so
that was strange.
That's when I thought Soundgarden has to go in before Alice in Chains. And right. I tend to think that Alice in Chains has to go in before STP.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Alice Chase might get squeezed out because like, hey, now we got 3 Seattles in there. Let's go grab those guys from San Diego. I don't know. Who knows how these fuckers think?
I don't know. It's a crapshoot, but I think eventually they'll all end up in there because they were all part of that huge movement. How do you not, in a way, put them in there? But I don't know. That's a whole other conversation for next year when we fucking go over the new list they put out next year and we get all pissed off. We'll save it for that. But tonight, 25th episode, Rod. Can you believe it? We made it to the silver, whatever the fuck. Not
25, baby.
25 fucking episodes. I got to be honest. I thought maybe we'd give a good run at 15.
It's 25. It's once a week. That's 25 weeks. And then I got sick, hurricane. So it's
we should be
20. It's 27 weeks. That's a long fucking time, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking
wow.
work. It's a lot of extra work we do for this. It's crazy that we do this. Well, I appreciate everybody listening. Follow us on social media, Facebook. We did get more subscribers. Oh, wait, there was a guy, and I don't have time to pull it up now. Last week, I mentioned that please subscribe, smash the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. And we noticed it worked. By saying that, a lot more people did subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much. You can check out my new vest that I got for this week's episode. And I did make a joke last week about like, hey, I don't care how you subscribe. Just subscribe. You know what? You can use your dick. Hit the subscribe button. Okay. A guy posted on our comments, hey, I just subscribed and I used my dick. I'm like, all right.
Smash my dick right on the button.
Why not?
I don't care. I'm happy you're here.
Don't care. I don't give a
Weirdo.
shit what you do. I don't really care. I know. You got your little snail tracks on your own computer screen. So good luck with that. That's enough. I'm out. I'm done. See you next time.
All right, we'll see you for episode 26. Thank you so much for checking this out. Later, guys.
Let's go. It's time. Put on Play Pants. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. See us on our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages at Play Pants Pod.